Okay, well, I think it's going to be an intimate meeting, the bunch of us, which is fine. If other people show up, that'll be awesome. So tonight we're going to do some.
You can stop sharing if you want.
Yeah, okay.
Brittany.
Let me just fire this back up here. Okay. So I'm gonna launch a poll here, just between the bunch of us. Actually, it'll only be 2 votes, unless I remove Emily. Maybe Emily could just tell me her vote. But yeah, I don't want to take the ball everyone's night if they have other plans. But if you have nothing planned, then we can go as long as you want. So the question is, do you guys want to go 2 hours or do you want to go 3 hours? And then we'll stick to that time. And we'll try to get as far as we can in the build. And if we can't finish it all, this no big deal. We'll just pick up where we left off maybe next month or in between. So I got 1 vote for 3 hours. Emily, what do you say? You probably won't be able to. You say 2 hours?
Yeah, because I work tomorrow.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Brittany, what do you want to do? Do you want to do 2 hours or 3 hours? Or maybe you
Okay, honestly, I don't have much planned, so anything is okay with me.
All right, so we'll go to 9, and then we'll see how far we got, and then because Emily does have to work tomorrow, and I know what that feels like. All right, so with that in mind, I'm just gonna go over here. Where's my RubberDuck? And I'm gonna click on the 2-hour countdown here. So the clock is ticking. All right, starting now. So how far can we get? So what we're going to try to do is build a MERN stack. And that is a fancy way of saying multiple components to get a web app running. So MERN stands for Mongo, Express, React, and Node in the background. And when you put them all together, you get the MERN stack. And there's other stacks out there.
MEAN.
Which one?
MEAN, which is basically the same thing, except for instead of React, it's Angular.
Angular, there you go. MEAN is a popular one. When I was in college, they had the LAMP stack, which was I forget what it was. It was like Linux, Apache, and then something, and then PHP. Different acronyms, different stacks, but basically it's like, how can you combine all the technologies together? So we're going to just do MERN because I think it's easy-ish, and I'm a little bit more familiar with it. I'm going to, while I'm yammering on here, I'm going to try to fire up my little example here. So the tutorial that I used was this one right here. And this guy did an excellent article. He went step by step. It's he even kind of the title 2020 is really it tells you that it's current, right? So cutting edge article. But he walks you through this whole little tutorial step by step to make the stack. And what he did was make an anime tracker. So when it's all put together at the bottom, you get this little kind of anime application. So I did go through it, and let's see if it works here. This is where the demo usually. We may have a situation here. Nope, it didn't like that. Okay. I swear it was working, and now. So let me try this here again. So I'm going to try running the dev here. And then the second command was this one here. So originally in his tutorial, currently running, oops, let me try that again here. So what I just did there, in his tutorial, he wanted you to run a single command, which would fire up the back end and the front end. So I've noticed on this new workstation that I've set up, and a few of the online IDEs like Sandbox or Code Sandbox that we played with before, or Replit. Sometimes it doesn't play nice with his setup. So what I did is I fired up the server on one terminal, and now I'm going to go to another terminal, and I'm going to fire up the front end, and hopefully, where's it? Hopefully it'll work here. Just to give you an example of what we're going to kind of build. I should have fired up this demo earlier today. We'll see. This is going to be the fun. We're going to find out if our, there we go. Okay. So looks like my demo is taken off, and this is going to be painfully slow, maybe. Ta-da. So let me hit this button here. Ha-ha. Thank goodness it worked. So it doesn't look like anything, but it's actually quite impressive going through the tutorial, because what's happening is this web app is contacting a database, a free database that we're going to set up. It's pulling that data down, and we with the front end that he provided, we're laying out how we want that data displayed. And this is called a CRUD setup. So you can create, help me out. What is it? Create,
I don't know, update, delete, I forgot what it was.
Yeah. What's the R stand for?
Read.
Thank you.
Read, yes.
Thank you, Kamaya. So create, read, and update,
delete.
So it does all the features. So we can just get rid of the incredible Spider-Man. He's not that incredible. So we can update the information. I don't like Spider-Man anymore. Let's get rid of him. So it has all those features, and that's typical of every web app. Is you want to create data, you want to read the data, you want to update the data, and then you want to delete the data when you have no more use for it. So the very ambitious version that we're going to try to create, and I don't know how far we're going to get, is we're going to try to make the RubberDucky. So I made a little, and this is inspired by our last guest speaker that we had last month, Chance McAllister. Figma is a wonderful tool that he recommended. So I just made this very easy prototype. So this is what we're going to be doing is we're going to be recreating what he described as the RubberDucky technique. And I think I may have heard it before, but when he described it, I was like, oh, wow, that's really interesting. And basically, I have a Wikipedia entry there too, the RubberDuck debugging, if you want to read about it. But basically, a programmer would carry a RubberDucky with him, and he would explain his logic line by line to the RubberDucky. And you're thinking, huh? But what would happen is once you start vocalizing your thinking, you start clearing up some of those traps we fall into. So anytime you fall into a problem with a code or whatever, what you could do is send an email to somebody. And what I mentioned in our last meeting is when I compiled the email, and just before I hit the send, I already figured out what the answer is, because I had to explain the problem via the email. And by the time, just before the send, it's like, oh, it's clear now because I have it in writing. So we're going to try to make that experience here. So the ducky says, hey, what's your problem? And then we type an overview of the problem into the text box. And then it could filter through these further questions like, okay, type your expectation. Okay, estimate the number of steps of things to do to solve your problem, and then start prompting for each step. And then what I was thinking, and maybe we can discuss this design if you guys want to change this. I was thinking, okay, if there were so many steps, have the person go through the steps, and when they come across a problem, the cycle is recursive. It starts again, and the ducky says, what's your problem? And then it keeps going. And then eventually they'll get from point A to point B. But But if they don't, what they'll end up with is a collection of problems that they can refer back to. So they're trying to troubleshoot a problem, and then they'll have a visualization of the problem. And then I thought, okay, for bonus points, maybe we could have the ducky give some stats like, okay, you're 55% complete, or, you know, you've solved 2 ducks, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a very ambitious prototype that I was hoping we could hack together. With a few of us, we'll probably be able to go a little bit faster, and we'll see how far we can get. So that's what I'm hoping we can create. So what we have to do is first we have to set up the MERN. What did I say that? Okay, so yeah, discuss the workflow with the group. So I don't know how we're gonna tackle this, but what I do want to show everyone, and maybe some of you are already familiar with this, is the GitHub workflow. So I actually opened up an issue here, and let us see here. This is actually from Chingu. I actually took this from their handbook. So the Chance's company, they made an excellent explanation of the Git flow work. So, and this, don't be intimidated when you look at this flow chart. It's like, oh my God! But basically, our setup here is that everyone can code on their own machine, and eventually, when you're happy with your change, you'll do a pull request, which is PR. You'll see that everywhere. PR, pull request. So then when we see the pull request, one of the duckies teammates can now approve that change, or they can merge it into the development branch. And then once we're happy with the development branch, we can then push it into the master branch. Mm-hmm. And then once we have some really good working code in the master branch, then that's when we can do a release, or we can deploy it somewhere online. I mean, this is like overkill. Most tutorials and most little workshops, they'd just be like, just code, slap it together. But we're going to try to do it the appropriate way, as if it's a project. So it seems like a lot of setup and nitty gritty stuff ahead of time, but I think it'll help us long term if we don't complete everything tonight. So the setup we're going to do. So if everyone, and I assume some of us are familiar with this, but it's always nice review. We're going to clone this repository, and we're going to set up our branches.
Just before we continue, Tamaya, do you have a GitHub account? Like I got for Brittany. I'm not sure if I got for you. I got yours, sorry.
I think I already added him.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, earlier today. He should be there. I mean, I'm speaking on his behalf. Maybe I got the wrong Tamoya. Is that you, Tamoya?
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
it's mine.
Okay.
And you know what? Oh, we have one pending member here.
Brittany, you need to accept the invitation.
Yeah. So Brittany, maybe Emily can confirm, but does she have to check her email?
Yeah, you need to check your email.
Okay. So if you check your email, Brittany, you'll see something about you're invited to the RubberDuckies. That's us. So once you accept, you'll have the same godly powers we do, which is to review and accept code. All right. So I'm going to clone this repository, and I'm going to set up my branches, and everyone else can do the same. So I'll stop my little demo here, and I should stop the back end too before I forget. All right, I'll kill that terminal. So this is me using the terminal portion of VS Code, and I'm going to do git clone. I hope that's big enough for everybody. Yep.
I can see it.
Okay, git clone, and still not used to the, still not used to the Ubuntu setup I have here. Yeah. All right. So that's how you clone. It's a tiny repo. It doesn't have anything. and we've seen this before. I mean, this is nothing new. This is the confusing part, I think, is actually setting up the branches or the remotes, I should say. So if I do get remote --v, it's going to show the origin. That's just default how it's set up, but that's not what I want. So I'm actually going to back up here a little bit, because I actually kind of skipped a step. So this is under freeCodeCamp Barrie, which is an account I set up. But me, Paul Gamble, I want to fork it. So if I can just move everyone's little video. How do I move this Zoom thing here? There it is. Okay, just moving all you beautiful people down here. So there's a little button on the top right that says fork. So that's what I want to do. I want to fork this repo to my account, Paul Gamble. So I'm going to do that. Paulie will. So now forking is it's a fancy way of saying copy. And you're saying, oh, a fork. Why the fork is it called fork? Well, it's because back in the day when people made copies of code, it would like be a fork in the road. That version of the code would take off, and then they would make their little changes, and other people would fork off in a different direction and they'd make their little changes. So that's where that expression comes from. And it's just a fancy way of saying copy, but I really am forking off into a different direction. And then if I make some changes, we're going to try to merge it back into the original repo. So now that I have my fork here, if you do the drop down here, you notice that it says GitHub/PauliWill RubberDucky. But over here, it was freeCodeCamp Barrie RubberDucky. So what I want to do is I want to make my account the original, and I want to make this one whatever. But usually the best practices is to call it the upstream. And I'll explain kind of in a way why that is. So let us copy this here. Oh, I probably have to hit shift to copy, don't I? Oh my goodness, this is going to slow me down. Okay, no big deal. So what I want to do is get remote remove. And you don't have to do this if you fork it first and then clone your version, but because I cloned the original here, I'm going to do that. So now if I do this command, I have no remote set up. So I'm going to do get remote add origin, because I deleted the original origin. This time I'm going to do my origin. So I'm going to do that. I don't know why I get all these extra gargly goop and Ubuntu. I'll figure that out another day. So I'm going to rename this to mine, or you can all just do copy and paste like a sane person. So if I hit that and I hit this, I just reissued the command again. So now it's pointing to me. So that's my origin. But I also want to be able to fetch. I want to be able to pull new code that everyone else is working on. So I want to add this again, but I just want to name it something different. So let's see if I can do the right click here. So again, I'm going to do get remote add upstream. I'm going to paste that in. That's cleaner. I guess it just doesn't like my keyboard. And if I do that, and now if I list it again, I got both. That's exhausting. Why did I do that? Well, if somebody makes a change and it's merged to the upstream, which is the one that we're all working towards, I can pull the changes into mine, which is the origin. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a quick, and this might be review, but I'm going to do a quick, look at this. This is my tutorial secret stuff that I should have hidden. Now hackers are going to exploit my anime tracker. I'm going to do a little change here to the README here. So this is the same README everyone can see here, except it's a little discombobulated here. Let me zoom out a little bit. So I'm gonna just add another hot tip at the bottom. There we go. Hot tip number 2. This is very important. Have snacks and beverages nearby. That's very important when you're coding. You definitely want to make sure you're hydrated. Feed in the brain. Okay, so simple change just for demonstration purposes. I'm going to bump this up again. So if I now do get status, it's going to say that file was modified. And if you don't know what was modified after you do a get status, you can actually do get diff. I mean, there's whole YouTube videos that tell you every one of the commands. I don't know all of them by heart. Google is your friend, but I know how get status and get diff. And so diff will show you that, okay, somebody added me. I added have snacks and beverages nearby. So there's been a change to that file. So we're just going to do a quick commit. And a commit is like saving it. We're saving that change. So you do -am. I don't know if I have to do am. It's just muscle memory. I always put am. I think if the file's already added, you don't have to add the a, but the hell with it. Do an am and just leave a message. Added a new hot tip. Oh man, I gotta set this garbage up. Dang it. Well, maybe I forgot to do all this. I'll have to take this all off. Anyways, what I want everyone to do is do a hot tip at the bottom, and try to push your code up here. I just got to put my credentials here. I'm gonna took it off the screen here in case it's just doing what it says on the screen here. Get config global. I know Tamoya and Emily, you know how to make a hot tip, right? Have you already made a hot tip and committed it?
Oh, I was actually looking at how you do that. I use GitHub the lazy way.
Okay, so I'm actually here. I'll just bring it over here. I don't think I'm going to be sharing anything too secret here, but it's asking me. I haven't set up my credentials on this new machine, so it's saying I have to set up my Git here. So it's saying run your name, run your email. So I'm just doing that now. I might have to set up some further security to talk to GitHub. And again, Google is my friend every time I do that. So this is, you might have to do this for Git. Okay, let me try that command again. It's probably going to complain again. We'll see here. No, okay, good. So I was able to make my change. Now I'm going to try to push it. This is probably when it's going to complain, I suspect. So
oh my God, Paul, someone got your credit card.
What's that?
Did everyone get Paul's credit card at the top?
Where's my credit card at the top?
I don't know. Maybe I didn't read it. Just read the comment.
You got my credit card. Oh, that's no good. Let me bring up this chat here. You're all making me paranoid now. We'll see here. Hang on. I don't even have my screen anymore. Bollocks. Oh, well, you funny people. All right. So yeah, my credit card information will be at the top. So let's see here. So what I'm going to try to do is push my changes here. So I'm going to do get push. And what I want to do is push it to the origin, which is mine here. So let's see origin. And then I think I have to put the branch here. So a little discussion on branches. So if I do get branches, oh, no, wait, just get branch. So development. Development is the only one that I have because I set that already up on GitHub. So if I do git push origin, and then I keep hitting tab, by the way. If you ever see tutorials and you're like, wow, how do they type so quick? They're using tab for everything. I use tab. I just type the first couple of letters and then I hit tab and then let the computer do the work for you. So git push origin development. Let's see what happens. So yeah, it wants me to sign in. So this is where you'll definitely get my credit card information. So let's allow this. Oh, maybe hang on. I'm just gonna take this off screen here.
Yeah, I'll stop sharing.
That's fine. Open link. Do I want to allow this? Okay. Oh God, yeah, it wants me to put all my information in here. Okay, so let me stop sharing. None of you could see this, right?
No.
Okay. So while I'm doing that, I want everyone to clone, just as you saw. If you're having any issues, just put in the chat or just yell out. So I want you to clone first. Sorry, let me say that again. I want you to go to GitHub, the website. I want you to click that fork button. So fork your version to your account. Then I want you to clone it to your local machine. I want you to put a hot tip on the README. It could be anything about using the washrooms or having an umbrella if it rains. I don't care, as long as it's a helpful hot tip. And then we're gonna show a pull request.
You'll have to show me again how to do. Oh, I see the fork. Okay.
Okay, there's my. We have lots of chat. Not at all. Sean. Very funny, Sean. Just catching up on the chats. So yeah, everyone, if you can clone, just give a thumbs up in the chat or say you're good. If you're stuck, just let everyone know in the chat too, and we can get some helpers. Would have been helpful if I had everything set up ahead of time, security wise.
I'm stuck.
Okay, just bear with me here as I type in my super secret password. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Just turn the light on 1 sec.
Oh, I see. Try that again. Wah, wah, wah. Okay. Try that again.
Maybe we could share our screen and do a walkthrough together.
Yeah. Okay. So you share your screen.
Okay.
While I'm hacking away here, trying to figure out my my credentials here.
I have my little VS Code.
Okay.
My terminal just failed.
That's
Why?
fine. That's
I
fine.
don't know.
Okay, so if you're on Windows, hit Control and that the little wiggly button underneath the escape key, that backtick wiggly.
Yeah,
pile.
it's this.
There it is. Oh, yeah, you had it, and then it just crashed. Terminal
Always
failed.
had these little things on my GitHub does that to me. I don't know. Path to PowerShell.
All right, so kill your VS Code and then fire it back up. Sometimes that helps.
How do you do that?
How do you do that? How do you kill it?
Mm-hmm.
Just kill the application, like the little X on the corner there.
This?
Yeah, just totally murder it, and then fire it up again. And sometimes that.
I'm not sure it's gonna work.
We'll see here. You know what? Actually, have you ever used the terminal at all? on your?
Yes, that's what I was thinking because I've done. I even have the GitHub desktop here for forking and all these little stuff to be able to commit. But I think I've made like so many changes with yarn and XYZ, so that's why it's been messing up with my VS
You know what? That's
Code.
fine. Just do it how you usually do it. If you use the buttons on the side for VS Code, then do it that way. Okay. That's an excellent. That's a good. Yeah. Oh my God, I can hear somebody playing music upstairs. Yeah.
So since mine, I have downloaded like the GitHub desktop, which is like very lazy way of doing it. No command, no terminal.
Yeah, go for it. You don't. Yeah, there's a ton of ways. Yeah.
So sorry.
Show me how you do it. I mean, I have my own little way, but.
So basically how I do it is I go directly on, oops, that's not, on GitHub. I just fork it here. Or if I have to upload a file, I just drag and drop the file here. And then my colleagues or collaborators will just going to accept it. So for example, I'd be like, upload new file. I will just drag my code into here and then commit.
Okay, so do that way. There's a more than one way to skin a cat, as they say. So yeah, like if you're comfortable, I definitely do that sometimes too. If I don't have access to a terminal and I need to make some quick changes, I'll do it all through the GitHub website. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but I think it's nice to know how to like code it and use the command prompt. I'll just drag and drop here.
Yeah, I see. Okay.
So
let's troubleshoot it. Let's just troubleshoot it for a few minutes and see if we can get you up and running. So at the bottom there, it says, what does it say? It says a terminal process failed to launch. So it's saying bash. Okay, so hang on. So let's use Google as our friend. I'm going to Google that up.
I wonder if I deleted that extension in my bin.
Maybe. Let's just see program files. I'm just going to do the magic power of Google for everything.
I know someone just downloaded VS Code, so I was going to suggest if it's taking too much time, we can go to someone else because I know I did like a ton of modification on mine when I was in classes. Where's my bin?
Look, okay, I'm actually I am genuinely curious. If you go to a command prompt, so if you go to your Windows button and just type
CMD. Talking about command prompt, I remember using GitHub and it was not working for Visual Studio. So I actually had to use command prompt instead of a terminal.
Okay, so type in get. I just want to see what happens if you type in get and hit enter. See, it does not like it. So I'm wondering if you have to re-download Git for Windows. Okay, so let's see here. Google, download Git. Windows 10 you have?
I do.
Okay. So yeah, let's do that real quick here. So just open up your browser, Chrome if you want.
Yeah.
Tab open, say Git download Windows 10. It'll take you to the official Git website, which is git-csm, I think.
Is it this one?
Yep. And just download for Windows. And there it goes. Oh, you got two versions now. You can pick your choice.
Yeah. How lucky. All right.
Okay, so we've almost used up an hour of our hackathon, but we're getting a good setup here. So while you're figuring that out, Emily,
you can stop sharing if you want.
Sure, I'm gonna
keep going. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me. Gosh, did I lose y'all? Something frozen. Shoot. course my machine would crash. Well, Zoom is figuring out everything. I'm going to just, yes, gosh. What a great setup I have here. So I'm going to go back to our RubberDucky repo. Has everyone made a hot tip and change? Yes, no, in the chat.
It's still here.
Okay.
How do you do the hot tip? Sean is asking.
Okay.
I think he came a bit later. Maybe that's why.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Hang on. See this. Dang. Zoom.
Yeah, it's in VS Code.
Come on, Zoom. Catch up with me. I do not want to make breakout rooms. Gosh. For those that are curious, I'm using a Ubuntu live USB version here, and I'm overwhelming it. One day I will get a proper setup here. Okay, so the hot tip, the question was how to make a hot tip. So yeah, I just made what I did is I just changed the README file. So we cloned it to our local machine here. I added a hot tip at the bottom, have snacks and beverages nearby. I saved the file. I committed the change at the bottom here on my terminal. So Emily was just trying to figure out her terminal. I think once she installs Git and confirms with her command prompt that Git is installed on her machine, she'll also have maybe the same setup here on her VS Code. Otherwise, she can just do the changes via the website. So once I did push my changes to the development branch, and I don't know if you all, if Sean missed this other part here where I set up the remotes. So I set up an origin, and I did that by, you can do it by the command here, get remote add, and then the name of the remote that you want. So I have two here. I renamed, after I forked it, I have my origin as my version. So Polly Will RubberDuck. And then I have the upstream as freeCodeCamp Barrie. And the reason why I wanted to do that is because I made my change. I saved the file, and then I committed it, and then I pushed it to the origin, which is my account. So if I go over to GitHub now, and I wonder if it's going to pick up a change here. Not yet. We'll see here in a second. So what I can do is I can go to RubberDuck here. We're going to see if this works here. I can do a pull request across forks. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to dump code from Polly Will's development to the freeCodeCamp RubberDuck development branch. And it does notice the change. It notices, hey, hot tip number 2, have snacks and beverages nearby. So that's me saying, I want to add to the code base. So I'm going to hit create pull request. Now, if you were working on a major project with other people, and we are, right? You want to add in a bunch of comments, all the screenshots. Sometimes they even put a template saying, did you check this? Did you check that? And they'll force you to check those boxes. That's a little overkill for our purposes. So I'm just going to say, I added an amazing hot tip. Hot hit? No, hot tip. Okay, whatever. A little comment there. Typical markup editor. You can see what it looks like. I mean, I don't want to get into fancy stuff here, but you can really play around with this stuff. This is how you make a header number 2 or whatever header. Oh, actually I can just put header 2. And if you you can kind of fancy it up if you want to. I mean, this is a little above and beyond what we need. So anyways, I added a little comment there. I hit create pull request, and now boom, it's ready to go. There's only one problem. Somebody has to review it, because I set up a rule for this repo that one of you in the RubberDucky team has to approve it. So Tamoya, I want you to approve this if you don't mind. I want you to approve this hot tip, and just let us know when you've reviewed it and you think the code is adequate. And then once he approves it, we'll get a green check here, and then we can actually merge it into the code and it'll update. Okay. So that's a long, crazy intro to how to set up your development, but it's important to go through. Okay. So boom, Tamoya is on it, and he merged it too. So he approved it. He merged it. So now if we go back to the code base here, we should see hot tip number 2, have snacks and beverages nearby. Thank you, Tamoya. I think it's important that people have that information. So that's how we're going to do this. All right. As we carry on, I know this is a lot of intro and me yammering on. As we go full steam ahead, I want everyone to if you have a little change that you want to make, go in, change the code. Emily, if you don't want to use VS Code, if you just want to do it via the website, go for it. There's no rules with this hackathon that we're going to do. I want everyone to review code. I want everyone to submit changes. So I have issues here. These are like problem tickets that you can set up. We can actually set up a project here. Let me see here. I'm going to set up a new project here. So we're going to do an MVP. So that's minimal viable product. So that's, I'm going to do a basic, actually, let's do an automatic Kanban. So Kanban is the nerdy way of saying dragging stuff around. So we're just going to, we'll get rid of that. Delete note, sure, okay. Delete note. So we could either, it's up to you guys. We can either use the Kanban that they have in GitHub, or, and I was hoping that Chris would be on the line because he says he uses Trello all the time. We could use the Trello that I set up as well. I have our own little board, and it's the same idea. We're gonna come up with new issues, and I'm gonna get Emily to help me out here if people want access. So just a round of a quick vote. Do you guys want to use the Kanban? I know I'm asking too many questions here, but do you guys want to use this Kanban, or do you want to use the Trello? Maybe nobody has a preference. Okay, we're gonna use this one because I don't have time. I honestly, we have less than an hour to try to get as much done. All right, so we're gonna try to get all these from the to-do to the done, basically. So we're doing this right now. It's in progress. Let me open this little issue up here. Come on. Do I have to drag this over? Why? I'll just open it up here. So issue, so we talked about the branches and the remotes. Okay, check. So we're going to talk about the back end and the front end. Tamoya, are you better at React front end stuff or back end?
I know both of them.
You know both.
Ooh, full stack.
All right, so you can help with both. Brittany, do you have experience with either? Do you have any idea?
No, I do not.
Okay.
No, I don't.
All right, so you can follow along with us wherever. And Sean, how's your experience? Do you know back end, front end? Zero. Is that?
Sean?
It says zero. What's Trello? Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I'm going a mile a minute here. So yeah, sorry. I'm here to learn. Perfect. Okay. So yeah, Trello is just another our Kanban setup. It's basically, and you should check it out on your own time too and set up. I use this for mini projects. When you have a lot of things to do, you can set up these boards and you can drag your things into different columns in that. So Trello is the same as
yeah, you can have it for Mac.
Yeah, it's a web app. It's like a web. So you just go to Trello.com and then you can set up a board. I'm just going to use what GitHub provides because it's just easier. All right, so we don't have to really assign teams. I was thinking maybe if we had a mix of expertise for both back end and front end, I could dump us into 2 different teams. But
okay, I feel like I just said an incorrect answer. What was the question? What did you ask me?
Yeah, no worries. So when people say a full stack web app, what they usually mean is that there's a back end portion and then there's a front end portion. So the front end is like HTML and how the website looks. And then back end is like the database and all that other stuff. So when I throw out these, thank you for asking that too. When I throw out these terms, catch me on it because I don't want to speak in pure jargon. So when I say back end and I ask Tomoya, what are you familiar with? He's like, I know both. That means he's familiar with setting up databases and the connections. And he's also familiar with setting up interfaces, right? There's some people, when they get into development jobs and careers, they specialize in one or the other. And some people will specialize in all of it. It sounds like Tomoya is a full stack developer.
It's both, yep.
So that's why I was just asking if there's some people, they're just completely designers, they're completely front end, and that's their bread and butter. And so when you say, hey, do you know how to set back? They're like, no, I only do front end. So that's why I was just throwing that out there. If somebody was that focused, I was just going to put that as an opportunity. So
sorry to interrupt. I was going to say, if you really want to do 2 groups, I'm comfortable with front end. I'm not super good with Java. Like I know basic JavaScript, but I know advanced CSS and HTML. If I'm not stepping on anyone's toes,
no.
If like Tomoya, you want to take backend, and I can try to help with the front end.
Okay, good. All right, so that's excellent. So if and people can team up with whoever.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to work on the front end here, and just to catch up with Sean here, this is what we're trying to make here. So we're gonna, Emily, if you wanna, you can even start hacking away on the side here as I start setting up the MERN stack. Start thinking how you're gonna get this working. How you're gonna get this HTML. How you're gonna get the CSS sorted. And Tomoya, you can start putting your 2 cents in here as I start the back end here. So yeah, that's what I was gonna just assign teams. And then we also need some people to kind of figure out this logic here, and we can tackle that together as a team. The logic being this here, I think is going to be the biggest logic code wise, is that we're gonna have to figure out how to create arrays and stuff like that, so that when the user, anyways, we'll get there. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but anyways, since it's a small team tonight, I don't have to assign. But if we had a large team, I could assign some people to back end, to front end, to just figuring out that logic, and then to DevOps and that. So anyways, I think we've killed this to death. We've set up the teams. We've talked about the workflow. So let's get to the other stuff here. So I'm just going to say that is done. That one is done. We can always return to it. So the first thing we have to do as we start this second hour is we have to set up the database. So let me close some of this stuff here so I'm not overwhelmed here. And our countdown is, yeah, we got an hour and 12 minutes where we're doing good here. So what we have to do is we have to set up a database to dump this stuff. And the one we're going to choose tonight is
I'm sorry, sorry to interrupt you. So I'm
Yep.
just reading the comment. So yeah, Brittany, you're backend, so you do Java and C. And is logic like a flowchart? What do you mean by logic, Sean?
Yeah, sorry. I really have a bad habit of speaking jargon. When I say logic, I mean some web apps are very what Paul said, the logic. Yeah. Some web apps, there's no logic per se. Like when you code up show a button, you program show button. If you want things to show up a certain way, you just declare, okay, I want it this color, I want it this position, right? There's no logic. That's all just kind of configs. The logic is where you have to figure out how to code things to tackle unique situations. So for this little prototype that we're going to make, one of the questions I ask the users is I say, okay, declare your problem, which is, it's simple enough, right? That's a simple question. And then, you say, okay, what's your end goal? So these are just what we're asking the user is strings. So the user is going to provide us some strings. So they're going to say, my problem is I'm trying to fix the kitchen sink. Okay. And then what's their expectation? I want the water to drain properly. So we'll just save those answers and then we'll fire it back to the user. And there's no logic there, right? Where logic in our program really kicks in is this question here, is that we say to the user, how many steps do you think it'll take to solve your problem? Now to fix a kitchen sink, it might be 3 problems. I have to get the part, I have to whatever, right? They can give us any number. What we have to do is we have to figure out a logic to, okay, once they give us a number, then we have to run a loop, or we have to do some logic to start prompting them for each of those steps. So if they say 99 steps, well, then they're going to get 99 prompts asking for those 99 steps. I don't know what will happen if they do that, if they'll just kill the web app, whatever. But say they give us 3 steps. They're at point A, they want to get to point B. And they say, I need 3 steps to solve my problem. And they get the first 2 steps correct. Well, then we need some logic if they say, no, I can't get past the 3rd step, which for our little web app here, it's going to start the cycle again. It's going to say, okay, what's your problem? The other logic, and it's almost like a variable placeholder, is that we're not going to call everybody coder, right? This is just a prototype example. They could actually say, hello, Sean, here you go, right? So that's also a little bit of logic here that we have to like find a placeholder for someone's name. And then we also have to have logic here for this bonus stuff. I don't know if we're going to get all this stuff done. We'll have a nice setup for next month, maybe. But this is going to be logic driven too, right? Is that the 3rd screen, or in this little storyboard that I created, it's going to list all the problems that the user indicated. And then the ducky is going to start listing some of the stats, like how much they've finished their problems, how many ducks they've solved. I don't know if that was cute or annoying, but how many steps completed, the elapsed time that they used our little web app here. So that's going to be logic too, right? That's not just us pulling whatever. We have to figure out a logical way to tackle that. This is an ambitious prototype. So that's what I mean by logic. So getting back to our first step here, this can get addicting. So it's basically choose a direction by the way they answer. Yes, exactly. Yes. And your question, is it like IFTTT? No, not at all. But it's kind of, actually, let me say that. Let me say that, yes, it is a little bit.
Get it.
IFTTT, I set that up for our home. So when I tell Google Home night, I set up a thing to check to see if the garage door is closed, because that's how much a nerd I am, right? And that's the same, it's the same idea as logic, right? Like the what if if then do this. That's exactly right. So if that's what you're referring to, then yes. Okay. So we're going to set up for our MERN stack, we have to set up where we're going to dump the stuff. So that is the database. So that's step number one. So we're going to use MongoDB Atlas, and I may have logged into this yesterday with this computer, maybe not. We'll see here. So let us see here. Maybe not. Maybe I'll have to.
I don't think you download it.
Good question. No, you don't. So some tutorials and that you can do both. You can set up MongoDB on your workstation, or you can use a service. And so what we're doing is using a service. And the benefits of the service is we don't have to worry about a lot of things, especially this free thing that we're going to use. And hopefully this works. Aha, nice. We're going to set up a free database online, and then we're just going to access that database, all of us, locally, hopefully. And so, yeah, we don't have to worry about the nitty gritty. If you were building the next Facebook, then yeah, you would have to set up a server and have your own database and all that stuff. We're not going to sweat that. So a cluster is, in the world of non-SQL, MongoDB is database. I don't know why they call it a cluster. Probably just to be cute. So these are the pricing models you can choose. This is the one we like, a free one. So this will be perfect. So MongoDB Atlas, it actually uses all sorts of clouds services available. AWS, Google Cloud, Azure. It's giving us like a freebie, and it's using one of these services. So for our purposes, I'm just going to pick North Virginia on Amazon. It's closest to me. I could use Google Cloud. I could use Azure. I'm a big fan of AWS just because I've studied it a little bit. This is how much memory they're going to give us. And I'm not sure our limits, but for our purposes, for our little creation, this is more than enough. So we're going to create that cluster. It's going to take a while to do its thing. And while it's provisioning, and provisioning is a fancy word of saying make, while it's making our database online, we can maybe click on this. I don't know if we have to wait. Yeah, we're probably gonna have to wait. So anyways, while that's doing that, we can go to the next step. And just back up here. So the tutorial that I'm basically stealing is this one here. So that was step one, setting up the DB. Oh, sorry, setting up the Mongo database. So that's step two. So now we have to create the backend to talk to it. So this is where we start to get into some of the actual coding stuff. So I'm just going to put this on another screen here, so it makes it look like I know what I'm doing, when really I'm just copying the tutorial that all of you can copy as well. So I'm on my RubberDucky here directory. I'm going to skip the README because I already have a README here, but I'm going to do, and I'm going to skip the get init because I've already done that, and I've done this, and I've done that. Where am I here? There it is. So the first thing I'm going to do is make a backend, backend directory. And in that backend directory, oh yeah, then we go into that directory and we do npm init. Yes. And that's Node telling us to set some things up magically. So bang, it did a bunch of default settings that a Node app would set up. Then this is a bunch of packages that we're going to be using. So Express, no daemon, if I can spell it correctly, no daemon, integrated JavaScript cores, concurrent, mongoose. This is all the stuff from the tutorial, by the way. And dot environment. So these are all packages we're going to add to our application for the backend. And this is where we can just twiddle our thumbs as my slow development machine downloads these packages painstakingly. How are we doing on the comments here? We're doing okay.
Someone is offering to have a bigger account with your credit card.
That's thoughtful, but oh gosh, my credit card. No, come on. Don't. All right. So while that's downloading all the packages and stuff, it is going to take a little while just on my machine here because I'm running Zoom at the same time and a bunch of other stuff. It'll probably be a little bit faster on your machines, hopefully. But it looks like our database is set up now. And you can get some of these metrics and stuff.
Sean is, so I'm sorry, I'm talking over you again. I'm so sorry. Sean is asking what programming language you're using.
What programming language for this or the Mongo DB, Sean? The black screen.
Oh,
Okay. So what I'm using here, and I apologize if I'm going a little all over the place here, but this is Node, and I'm not a Node expert by any means, but Node is it's an engine. I'm frozen there. I see myself frozen on this one screen. Anyways, Node is it's a way of making JavaScript an interactive language per se. So I think JavaScript is the answer. But we haven't really got into the computer language yet, but Node is for making JavaScript a web app per se. So behind the scenes is JavaScript.
It's like having JavaScript and putting it in a way that the backend would be able to, like the server will be able to understand. Instead, can you go back to your VS Code? Let's say, for example, if you see there's JSON package, so name, backend, version. So these are JavaScript, but put it in a way that, for example, the database is going to understand. Like when you are asking for MongoDB, MongoDB doesn't have a database. So the way he understands stuff is the way that the JSON has been written, and JSON is just a library of JavaScript. If that makes sense, so I didn't confuse you more.
Pretty much. It was clear. It's clear. It's crystal clear. Yeah, it's so we're just Node is like it's an engine to make JavaScript talk to each other and stuff. What I had done here is download a bunch of packages. So it finished installing the packages. Even says here 20 packages, or it says 20 packages are looking for funding. The packages that I expressed here, each of these requires other packages. So this is the thing about Node. As soon as you start messing around with Node applications and you start messing around with React applications, is that there is a plethora of packages talking to each other, and security experts say that's a real threat. There's some great talks I've seen where people say you could, and this actually happened once. This person, I don't want to go on a ramble here, but anyways, if you look here, these are all the packages that have been installed on my local machine here. There's a ton here, right? 260 packages. If we go to the top here, I think if I go to my bin directory, yeah, my bin, it'll show me the ones that are available to me to use, right? And the tutorial that we're going to be copying, we're going to be using some of these packages to accomplish what we want. What I always suggest is don't sweat the stuff at this point. Just know that basically what I did is I downloaded a bunch of crap and it stuck it in this directory, and then we're going to use that crap later. And as you get more experience with Node and Node Package Manager, which is what NPM was when I did this NPMI, that's basically what I was doing. I was doing install these packages, and I separated them by spaces and that. I'm not doing a good job explaining here. Thank you, Emily. Yeah, she just provided you to YouTube. So while the packages were downloading, our because we're going to be sharing this, our database has been set up on the cloud.mongodb.com, excuse me. And if we hit connect here, this is where you can get all the cool behind the scenes information to actually connect to this database and do stuff. So we're actually going to set up a user to do this. So we're just going to put RubberDuck, and we're just going to accept the default password. So if all of you want to take a screenshot of this, I can actually put this in the chat here because we're going to have to reference this later. And where the hell is the chat? When I share a screen, they tuck it away. So that's the password for RubberDuck. So I've created a user here, and as well, yeah, sure. So there we go. So then it gives you this little button here, choose connection method, and we'll get to that. What we need here is this this link here to make our application work, right? So, but basically we've set up a database to put our crap. So that's good. So let me just get this back over here so I look nice and smooth. All right, so we've set up our database. I've downloaded the packages. That's good. What do we got to do now? We actually got to connect. We got to connect to that database. Okay, so this is where things are going to get create. Okay, hang on. I think I'm still in the backend folder here. I just got to compare what I had here. Yeah. So what I got to do is I got to make a new file here. And this is where you put secret stuff that you don't want people to see. And this is best practices. In the past, people would accidentally put their passwords as part of their code to make things connect, and then they would post it on GitHub, and then hackers would be like, "Oh, thank you very much." So to get around that, what you do is you put a .environmental file to put all that good stuff, and it should be listed in here as a git ignore. If it's not, then I have bigger problems to worry about. Yeah, there it is right there. So you put your secret stuff in this file, the .environmental, and that file is defined to git ignore, and that's a long way of saying you won't share your secret stuff. So what we need to do is, and I'm going to be stealing from here, we need to define how we're going to connect to that database. So I'm going to go to that, and we're going to put some magic in between those quotes. And I'm going to get it from here. We're going to choose connection. And for my example that I used for that tutorial, what did I do? I did, let me just use this as an example here. That's my secret credit card information. Because I'm not sure I always get mixed up here on the format here. So let's see here. Shoot, sorry. So Mongo server. I don't think I need that crap there. I just need this. And what was the name of our database? That's a better question here. So let me see here. Oh, sorry. I didn't make a collection yet. There we go. Okay. So I guess a cluster is, I don't know the equivalent of a cluster, but a collection is actually where you put the database. So we're going to add our own data here, and we're going to call this database problems. And we're going to call the collection name probably the same thing, problems. Problems. Okay. So then I can put problems up here, and that password that I had posted in the chat, I put that here. So it's we're putting in our secret here. It's going to connect to this server, and it's going to use this user ID. So sorry, let me back up here. So we're saying connect to this server, has the username, has the password. It's connecting to this cluster. So this is the IP address for that database that we're making, that cluster. And then I guess our collections, our database is problems. I'm just figuring this out as we go here. So, all right. So we'll find out shortly if we can connect. Don't you worry about that. So let me bring that tutorial up again. And as soon as I get this going, oh my gosh, Emily, I don't know if I can make this in like 30 minutes. You sure you can't call in sick tomorrow?
I can stay 1 more hour, don't worry.
All right, nice. Appreciate your sacrifice. Okay, so I'm actually, let's see here, localhost, and this, just looking at the tutorial here. Okay, so we need to open up this app.js here. So this is the code from the tutorial. So we might as well just steal it. And there's a lot going on here. Was I supposed to set this up ahead of time? I think I was supposed to set this up ahead of time. So we're going to make a new file in the backend directory called app.js. I'm going to dump that in. So it's using, it's setting up quite a few of the packages here. So const is a declaration saying constant. So we're saying constant express. So constant express will always equal this package that we've installed. Okay. What the hell does that mean? Well, we'll get there. And so then we make a couple other constants as well. Mongoose, same thing, path, cores, sure. So what we're saying essentially here is then we're making a whole bunch of declarations here. I'm actually going to get rid of that space here. So app is the first one we use. So express. So express is the way that it talks to that database. It's the magic glue to make the whole thing work. And then the app is going to use cores. Now, I can't do the justification of cores. he actually does a pretty good job in that tutorial explaining what CORS is, and you can Google up CORS, but basically CORS prevents hacking. So it allows cross origin redirect something. I don't know if somebody can Google up CORS for me, but basically it allows that magic communication between multiple sites. So if you don't have that, you'll actually run into issues that by default prevents people from exploiting little backends and stuff. So you have to set up CORS. Thank you, Emily. So then we set up a bunch of stuff, et cetera, et cetera. The ports, sure. So this is all the stuff that's provided in that tutorial. We are going to steal. We're not going to try to reinvent the wheel here. So let us see if this works here. And then it wants us to add a bunch of stuff here in the package JSON. So we're going to open that up too. And we're going to add these scripts. For those of you who are going, what the hell is going on? That's okay. I don't know either. I'm just copying and pasting. All right, so save that. Good. So we set up some scripts here. So now we're going to see what I messed up. So if I do npm run dev, we're going to see if it connects or if it fails. I'll have to reset the timer here too, Emily, if you're sticking around for another hour.
This is really interesting to me.
Okay, so I think it's either still thinking or it's let's see here. I think it's working okay. Usually it would have gave me an error by now. So I'm going to continue on with the tutorial here. The last time I made this tutorial, I had the wrong environmental value in here. This is through trial and error, and I had the wrong information in there, and it kept giving me an error. So the fact that it's not giving me an error is hopeful. Huh. Okay. Well, either it's working or it's not. I thought it would have gave me a message, to be honest. So actually, let me go to, I'm going to navigate, sorry, to localhost 8080. Yeah, I'm wondering, I might not have it set up correctly here. No biggie. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I save everything here. I'm going to do get status. Oh, sorry. Get status. I'm going to add that new directory and all that other stuff. Push origin. Okay, so while I'm doing that, I'm going to just hop back into GitHub here. I'm going to do a pull request. And then one of you, other than Tamoya, because he did it last time, I want you to merge my new changes. And have we added Sean yet to the RubberDuckies team?
Sean, let me check if you are accepted. 1 second.
Okay, so somebody, either you can do it, Emily, or if Tamoya
Yep.
beat you to it. There's a pull request for me starting at that the back end stuff. Da, 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 da. So what do we got here? So I got to create all this stuff. And make sure I got this correct here. Back end, front end. Yeah, I got to create all that stuff. Okay. So I got to create a bunch of new directories and stuff. And this is, again, this is just me following the tutorial here. Controllers, models. Public roots. Public. Oops. Public. Roots. Source. Pages, I think. So much stuff just to get a little thing working. Okay, so controllers, modules, node modules, yep, public, pages. I think pages is, where did I mess that up? Source, source is in page, sorry, pages is in source. There we go, pages. And then we're gonna a bunch of that stuff here. So I'm basically I'm copying the tutorial. We're gonna modify it obviously for our ducky as we carry on here. So the first one I have to create is the index. So just to show you all where I am here. Whoops. I can move this over. Why can't I move? This is where I am right here in the tutorial is I'm right here. So if you guys are following along or if you're doing it on your own machine, because I am way too slow for for your pace, then this is where I am right now is create a controller and root files for that tutorial. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to cut and paste into a new file here, which is one that I haven't played around with too much is it's the file that ends with, excuse me, index EJS, which is integrated JavaScript. And I'm not too familiar with it, but I have seen variations of it with Ruby on Rails. And basically, it's a combination of JavaScript and HTML, and you can embed a whole bunch of interesting stuff. Okay, so that looks like a basic HTML page setup. I'm going to save that. Good. And then we're going to, it wants me to create the edit anime, but we're not going to make animes. We're going to make problems. Ducks. Yeah. Should we do ducks or problems? What do we like? Ducks or problems? Do you want to call problems ducks?
I would say ducks.
Ducks. All right. Ducks it is. Edit ducks. Okay. And this is, I had it. Good. Okay. Edit ducks. And they give you the code for the but they said anime, so we can just do anime. I wish I was a little better. at, does anyone know the secret combinations here? I'll just say duck. Oh, shoot. This is the slow way. The case is all messed up everywhere. Gosh. One day I'll dedicate time to learning those shortcut keys for multi-edits and stuff. All right, add duck, sure. So this is, again, is an HTML setup to do the editing for our CRUD. And then we're gonna create another one, and it's just gonna be called ducks.
So you got an index EJS and then an edit EJS and then like 3 pages basically, right?
3 pages, that's correct.
Okay, gotcha.
And I'm basically just substituting, actually, I'm gonna rename this one to singular because they didn't put animes, they just put anime in the tutorial. And this is to display the ducks. So the index here is just kind of the setup for the home page. This is gonna do that R in CRUD. We kept saying CRUD at the beginning, CRUD. Most web applications have the CRUD. You can create records or data. You can read data, you can update data, and you can delete data. So the duck is where we're going to be able to read the database. Edit duck is where we're going to be able to edit the data. And then the index is kind of the setup for everything. And index and duck are going to probably look the same, but I think they're going to have a little bit subtle differences when we're all done here. The index is usually the root. It's what first loads up on a website. All right, so we created our duck, edit duck, and index. I'm just going to do a few more changes and then I'll do another commit. Did somebody accept that pull request?
No, I'm trying to do it.
I think I did.
Oh, sorry,
did?
what?
I think I accepted.
Did he beat you to it?
So
He beat you to it.
I went to pull request and then I don't see any request for it. Or maybe I'm doing it wrong.
No, Tamoya is right. He beat you to it. So I just had it opened up on my screen and I could see his information. So when you go to it now, you'll probably see no pull requests open, but we do have the closed pull request. So thank you, Tamoya.
Oh, you already approved it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's why. Okay, cool. No problem.
If somebody wants to do the next one, we'll give you like 5 minutes on the next one, and then Tamoya will just automatically go zink. All right, so we are on the admin JS, and that is in the controllers. So they want us to make admin. So controllers does exactly what you think it does. It controls things. It controls where to redirect and all that good stuff. So in this case, so this controller that we're going to create called admin.js is basically saying, and I think there's a little bit more setup we got to do before this will make sense. But basically what this is doing is it's saying it's going to try to make a request. That's what the RES is. And if the status is 200, so if you do, if you Google up status codes, maybe everyone's familiar with this. You try to go to a website. Somebody's like, you got to check out this website, and you go to it, and then it doesn't exist. And what do you get? What's the code we all get? 404 doesn't exist, right? So there's all these codes that are ingrained in the internet, and 200 is a good code. 200 means the request was successful. So what it's saying is that if the request is successful and it's 200, then render index. And index is going to be this one here. So that's, I mean, there's a little bit more to it than that, but that's basically our setup for this controller. Is it's saying if things are good, render index. And so then I have to create a root, and a root does exactly what you think it does. It makes a root. And in this tutorial, he used admin again. I don't know if this is a standard to use the same name file everywhere, so you're nice and confused. How do I get rid of this here? So this is using Express again. So Express, as I said, is the glue to talk to our database. So we're setting up, looks like 3 constants. So it's saying use Express, set up a controller, and it's going to equal that it's going to equal this. So admin controller is going to equal that controller that we just set up, which is saying if it's 200, render index. Okay, that makes sense to me. And then we're making another constant here, a router. I always mix them up. And that's another object here. So we've set up this object here that uses this package. And then we're setting up a router that's using this functionality from that object, which is nice and confusing. So then the router is making a GET request, and it's using this object that we set up, which is pointing to this method, GET index. So let me just go back here. Yes. So we set up a method here. Oh my gosh, it's so easy to get confused here. So it's exporting, gosh, the naming convention. I'm not even doing this justice, but basically this is setting up a method called GET index. And this is pointing to that. And it's saying, I want you to execute GET, and it's passing these 2 parameters. So it's saying slash, so go to the root of the website that you're setting up, and then use this method, and then export the router again. Confused? Perfect. So these 2 are going to work in concert to basically redirect us to index. So what we're doing in a very convoluted way is we're setting up our own server. So when people go to our very own server, which is the backend, it's going to redirect where we want them to. And in this case, what we're saying, we're setting up our server. We're trying to get them to this index. And this index is basically just going to say homepage, and that's it. That's all we have so far. I'm going to be losing my voice soon. I'm sorry. All right. I'm not doing justice explaining things, but that's okay. We'll just plug along and figure it out together. So what's this say? It says import the admin root file into your app.js. So we got to go back to this app.js here. And it wants me to change. Actually, I think I jumped ahead here. I actually dumped in a bunch of stuff from my other. Okay. Yeah, that's what's going on here. So I'm actually just going to follow the tutorial here. So it's not. Or actually, no, sorry. Let me do that again here. So it's just showing me a snippet here saying the old code, just to show you my confusion here. It's showing the old code said get slash request send home root. And this new code that we're going to put in as our object here. So I'm going to make this change. Oops. So let me see here. Sorry. The old code was apt-get. Where am I? Let me just see here. Apt-get. App use. Maybe I've already, yeah. I think I must have copied from the previous example I had set up here. So I had jumped ahead here. So I apologize, everybody. In the tutorial, this was the code they provided. So they're saying replace this. And so I already made the change when I was trying this out here. So yeah. So if you had followed the tutorial appropriately, this is the line that they want us to replace here. So I had already done it. So check. So I'm actually gonna commit this change. I'm gonna push it up. Somebody can accept the pull request. I'm gonna do save. I'll actually do save all. Make sure I got everything. Oops, where am I? Get status. So I have to, it's saying I haven't added these files to my Git repository here. So to do that, I just do git add period. And if you do git status again, whoops, if you spell it right, status, it's saying all these new files were added. Yep. So I want to commit the changes. So I do commit am, more backend setup. Git push origin development. Bang. All right. I'll do a quick pull request again. I'll do it. I'll actually put it on my shared screen here so you don't think I'm doing any secret magic. So I actually have to click on compare across forks because what I'm doing is I'm trying to do a pull request from my fork to this one. So all I have to do is say poly will, and then it's showing me all the changes that I'm adding to our code. So pull request. What's up? All right. You all have 5 minutes until Tomoya accepts it. All right. Let's see here.
How did you accept that?
You got to figure it out.
Okay, 5 minutes.
You have 5 minutes to troubleshoot. All right. So I'm actually gonna, let's see here. I'm gonna try to run that command again here. So I'm just trying to see if our backend can commute, and it's, oops. No, I have to go to backend before I run that command. So what I'm doing here is running a script, and I was kind of bouncing around all over the place, but I had defined, as per that tutorial, this script here. So that's what I'm doing here. Is I'm saying run dev, and run dev is firing off this no Damien app.js. And so this is more what I was hoping for, an actual error. So open URL must be a string, got undefined. Okay, so that's exactly what I was hoping for.
I guess I accepted it. I'm not sure. I might have broken something.
This is better. I like it when things break because I'm like, my normal. Okay, so let's see here. So it's saying that it doesn't like this. So we have to confirm that we have DB underscore host. And to do that, I'm gonna get Tomoya to help me troubleshoot this too.
I was thinking about the same thing.
If all of you want to troubleshoot this at the same time, we can troubleshoot this together. So, Mongoose. All right, parameter must be a string, got undefined. It didn't like line. So it actually tells you where things, you kind of, some of this is convoluted. But if we go through, we can kind of find where, like all this stuff that says node modules, that's looking into this directory here. So that's a little bit of beyond our stuff. What we're looking for is our directories where we made changes. That's how I troubleshoot this stuff. So it's saying right at line 23 in app.js. So if we go to line 23, this connect here. So for some reason, it doesn't like our little process environmental here. So I'm just making sure we have, that looks okay. So we
I
have,
think when you update the environment file, then you must restart the server.
I must restart the server. Let me try that again here. So I wonder if I have the right user name stuff too. It's saying this is undefined though. Why is it saying it undefined?
You need to close the quotation or something like that, like semicolon or.
This is an example of what I used when I was messing around with the other tutorial. So that was the format. And here looks a little different. Let me see here. This is programming at its best. Things never work. So DB user. So I defined a user called RubberDuck. Let's just confirm that here. It's always good to go over stuff again and again and again. And it'll drive you crazy and you'll be like, I don't want to keep checking the same things, but you have to. Okay, so where's my users defined? That's what I want to check out. Whoops. Database access. So RubberDuck.
Yeah.
There we go. Edit. Edit password. It's not showing me. So we lost it. We have to regenerate it if we want to see it.
I do have the password. I put it on a sticky note.
Okay. Well, we'll assume that, you know what? I'm going to mess you over here. I'm sorry. I'm going to regenerate that password here.
Okay.
So the new password is this one here. Just to confirm here. So let's. And then cluster problems. Oops, where am I here? Connect. Oh, maybe I forgot to do that too. Okay. I forgot to add the access from everywhere. You'll need your MongoDB credentials in the next step. Choose connection method. Yep. And then this. Replace my first with the name of the database that we use by default. Yep. I think everything's all right. Let's try that again. So I like Tomoya's idea there. Let's reset that server. Try again. So I saved the new password here. I'm going to kill that. I'm going to try to see if we can connect again. Nope, still doesn't like that. What it's saying here is that open URI must be a string, but got undefined. The first parameter is a string. So Tomoya, did you pull down the changes? to your local machine?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Can you do that and try to connect as well? I want to see if we can troubleshoot this together, everybody.
That's really interesting.
Okay, so again, it's saying line 23. So what I want to do here is I think I can do something like console.log, and I just want to see what it sees. So I'm just gonna say, what am I gonna say? I'm gonna say something like DB host. So what I'm doing here is I'm forcing this process environment DB host it's what it's supposed to do. You know what's going on? Aha! Eureka! You know what's going on is I forgot to put this in the back end. So that was the issue, that it was trying to access, gosh, see, the RubberDucky method is already working on me. I have to speak out loud, and then it's trying to access process environment DB host, but because it's looking in this directory, it's not finding it. So that's why it's saying undefined. So if I run this again, I should get undefined. So we'll do that again here. I don't know if, see, yeah. So there's the DB host. So I said DB host undefined because it can't find it. Now, if I move this in there, so it's in there now. If I stop this and I run it again, we should actually get the value. So boom, it got the value. Obviously, I don't want to display that in the final product here, so I will remove that. But I should get a new message saying that it connects now. There we go. Or actually, no, sorry, that's me making a change here. So, oops, let me do that again. Let me delete this, save. Try to run that command again. My computer's a little slow here, so that is fine. While it's doing that, guess what I'm going to be doing? I'm going to be doing another pull request, so everyone can have the same code as I do. So RubberDuck. And now we're at 9 o'clock, Emily. You're going to be tired tomorrow. Okay, so get status. We'll see how far we can get today. Nothing to commit. What? Did I not save everything? Interesting. I thought it would definitely have some new changes, but maybe I already committed the changes. Yes, we already committed the changes. Okay, so everyone should have. So what everyone can do now is you can start pulling the code down and working on your own machine. So to do that, just as an example, say you were on your own machine, and I'm doing it from the terminal, and Emily, you can do it from the website, but what you could do is navigate to our website, and after you fork it and all that good stuff.
One second. Was everyone able to fork their GitHub, their repository? Check the chat.
Sean thinks he did.
Okay.
Okay. As long as you forked it.
Okay, sorry, carry on. Sorry to interrupt.
That's all good. So after you've forked it, I'll just hop over to mine. If just to, because what I don't know how to explain this here. So what I've been doing is I've been making pull requests and pushing them to my fork, and then I've been making pull requests on GitHub. But if you haven't pulled from the upstream yet, then you won't have my changes yet. So after a while, your code is, or your version of the code is going to get out of sync. So this example that I'm going to do here, just to show you how to stay in sync here. And we've already done the whole setup here. So let me, oops, Nikes.
I know, Sean, I guess you don't know GitHub. So what do you mean by pull and push? So if you push GitHub, it means you're uploading to GitHub. And when you say you're pulling, it's just a fancy way of saying you're downloading the code. So when someone says pull it to your computer, he's asking you to download it to your computer.
Exactly. So shoot, you know what? Actually,
yeah. So the way that Paul is doing it, he's doing it in the VS Code. So do you know how to access the terminal, like the little bar that he has under? Like where he's typing? No, okay. So if you're on so your computer, type control and then the backticks. If this doesn't work, then yeah, go on your VS Code and terminal, new terminal.
it's not working. So do you have an option here where it says terminal at the top? You can say new terminal. So we'll have to dedicate some time to make sure everyone's got a good setup. Got it. Okay, you got it. Just curious, Sean, if you type get, do you get something or do you get an error? Because Emily had an issue with her. Yep. A bit different on Mac. Okay, so you do have a Mac. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Nice. Okay. I'm working on Ubuntu. I have a Mac over here on my left, talking to Emily about her Windows. So if I'm confused, that's on brand for me. Too much context switching. So what I was going to show you as an example of the pull and the push, and that's excellent questions. I'm going to actually, is this you? That's you, good sir?
Yeah, that's Sean.
That's Sean. Good. Okay, so I'm actually, say I was looking at your code, Sean. I was like, I am going to grab his stuff. So you don't have any code yet, right? You don't have my changes, I should say. So what would happen is, for this example here, let me just see. Good. I'm gonna make a directory. I'll just put example. I'm gonna go into example, and so I'm gonna do a git clone with. Oh, geez. I do not like how Ubuntu. Copy and paste. I got to figure that out. That's going to drive me. It's already driving me crazy. But anyways, so what I'm doing is I'm getting your version, Sean, and I'm cloning it to my system here. So if I do a list, I go into RubberDuck. I have your version of the code. And you might have missed this. I don't know if you saw this where I was setting up the remotes. And people are like, why the hell are you spending so much time with the remotes? Well, this is why. So your origin is your version of the fork. I'm going to add another one. So if I do git remote add upstream, and then I put where you forked it from, which is the freeCodeCamp Barrie RubberDuck version. And I grab that one and watch this copy and paste drive me crazy here again. Oh, it actually went cleanly. Imagine that. So I'm basically I'm declaring the upstream as where we're all going to be working from. Oops. I did not mean to do an enter there. So if I do get remote --v, I have the origin, I have the upstream. So this is how you pull, is that you do get pull. Now, some people say fetch and pull, and Google the differences up. Maybe Tomoya knows the differences between pull and fetch, but I always use pull. So get pull upstream, and the branch, actually, if I just do get pull, let me see here. Hang on. If I do get branch, have development. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to do, I think if I do it the first time, get pull upstream, and I might have to type out the branch here manually. Usually I can just do a tab and it'll do it for me. But if I do that, it's going to say merge conflict. Okay. And that's typical. So we're going to see that in a second here. So if I do get status, yeah, we have a merge conflict. So it pulled in all that code that you didn't have, the new directory with all that stuff, and it copied in a modified version that you already had. And you'll run into this. If you have a file that exists and somebody made a change to that file, you'll get merge conflicts, and people freak out like merge conflicts. That's a normal process of working with other people. So to handle merge conflicts, I know it does look kind of wacky, and VS Code does a good job. They highlight the merge conflicts in red here. So if I expand this, it says problem in README. And so I know we did a bunch of changes at the bottom here. So if I scroll down, bing, it highlights the merge conflict for you. And they put these nice little flags here. So the change is, the new change is in blue and what you have is in green. So the current change and the incoming change. So it gives you an opportunity to say, do I want the new change? That's where the merge conflict comes in, is it's giving you an opportunity to say yes or no. In this case, I'm going to say, yeah, I want that new change. So that to accept the merge conflict, all you have to do is remove those wacky flags. I'm sure there's a key combination that does a better job. I just do it manually. That's my lazy way of doing it. I hit save. And then if I do get status, oops, it'd be helpful if I have it up here. Let me try that again. Get status. Modified here. If I did a save, I think that's, did I get rid of the merge conflict? Yeah. So it's still highlighted as unmerged here. So I'm just going to do get add. I think this is how I resolve this. Get status. Yeah. Now it's happy. So it accepted the new file. It accepted the modified version after I got rid of those fancy flags. And then Sean, you can, on your local machine, commit the changes. And every time I do a poll, I do something like sync from upstream, just to, so I know what that's all about. And I know I keep putting these messages and stuff, and maybe some of you are like, why are you doing that? It's because, and I forget the command here, but yeah, if you do get log, you can actually go through
I guess I'm sorry, I'm just reading the comments. So Sean is asking what AM means. The A, I just know everyone does it. If I'm not mistaken, correct me. I guess M is master branch.
No, M is actually message.
Message. Okay.
I think I'm going by memory here. It's a flag that you need. It's always a good idea to make Google your best friend when it comes to Git, because it's such a powerful tool. This is the data. Sorry, this is the little nerd history for those that are interested. The guy that invented Linux why I mean he invented the kernel, or he programmed the brains of
Oh.
Linux, is Linus Torvalds. That's his name. He's like considered a nerd god. And then other people contributed to his project, and now we have Linux worldwide. The Penguin and everything, right? He was having such an issue with these collaborative tools. If you think about Linux, it's one of the most amazing projects from volunteers all around the world. But he said it was such a nightmare with the existing tools to bring in all these different changes. And he was like, the hell with this, I'm going to make my own tool. And so he made Git. So not only did he invent Linux, like he programmed the original brains, the kernel for Linux, he also made Git. So very impressive gentleman, to say the least. And so, I mean, the documentation, I can't do it a justice. I mean, there's a ton. Yeah, Linus T, show off. There's a ton of commands and stuff. I mean, I just know the tip of the iceberg of the commands to get me into trouble. There's other commands like cherry pick and stuff. We covered a little bit in the first meeting we had with Chris, where he was talking about that. There's a ton of information if you go online. But for our purposes, to do a commit, you have to use that flag. So that's why I kept doing that dash AM. And just for best practices, I always add the A. I don't think you have to add the A. The A is add. So I'm basically saying dash add any files that I haven't added, and M, I'm going to leave a message here, and that message is between the quotes. And what you just saw me do here is I did git log, and you can see all the changes that I did. The date, my name, my email address. They put these hex code stamps. I mean, there's excuse me. I mean, I'm not doing the justice, because the other powerful thing with Git, excuse me, as I lose my voice, is that, say you're making changes, and Git is really powerful when you're working with others, but Git is also powerful when you're working with yourself and you're making a bunch of changes and life is good. And then all of a sudden you make a change and you're like, shit, my code's broken. What did I do? Well, you can go back in time. So how do I do that? It's something like, let me just bring up the commands here. I think, what is it, Tamoya? No, you have the answer here. Is it checkout? I think it's checkout.
Git checkout.
It's checkout. Git checkout. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, what you can do is do something like git log. And so you have all this cryptic crap here, right? So I'm just going to scroll down, and we'll just grab this one here, this cryptic little chunk there. So what I could do is I could do git checkout. So just to show you the differences here. So I'm in the example RubberDucky directory here. Make sure I get this correctly here. So example RubberDuck, I have all this good code here now. If I do git checkout and then put that cryptic hex code there, and I hit enter, whoop, all that stuff disappeared. So I actually went back in time. They leave you all this cool stuff saying you've detached the head state. So you've kind of gone back in time. They do a good job here. They say you can look around, make experimental changes, then commit them. You can discard any commits you make in this state without impacting any branches. I'm not going to do a good justice explaining all the features of Git, but where this is helpful is if you do a mistake and you're like, damn it, I didn't want to do that. You can do what I just did. You can check out a point in time that you saved. And what I like to do is I like to, if I'm going to mess around, I do git branch new change. And then I can go git check out, or sorry, I can do, yeah, go get check out new change. So I've switched to that. And then I can make some changes here. Let's just new file, sure. Just a heads up, we're not going to complete this this project tonight. We're doing too much tutorials, but that's fine. We're going to continue on with the next meeting too. Okay, so I've added a new file. I can experiment with the code, but I can also, if I do git branch, it'll show me the different branches. So I'm on the new change branch. I've added a new file. I'm like, nah, that's not what I want. So I can go back to the mess that I made. So to do that, you do git checkout development. And then they gave you nice little instructions here. So it actually said, yeah, it pushed me back to where I was, but I still have that other branch there, right? So if I'm monkeying around, I can like, no, I really want to go back to that old state. I can go back to that branch and go new change. And we should see a change reflected here in the file folder here. So you see, I'm going back in time. So it is a powerful tool. The whole purpose of branches is that if you're working on a feature, you want to mess around with a feature, make your changes, and then do a pull request, and people can pull in the changes. And so that's, I mean, we're kind of. I hope that I explained it right and I did it justice here. So that's how everyone can pull their new changes here. I'll just leave that directory there. And let me see. This looks like it's working good. So we actually, I think it's working, right? Can't connect to any servers in your access. That isn't whitelisted. Oh, here, let me make sure your current IP address is on your current IP. All right, let me follow that link here. Okay, so I'm going to carry on with the tutorial here. I want to get something working before we wrap up for the night. I thought I whitelisted everything, but maybe not. Primary, secondary. Database. Oh, maybe network access. Ah, so not only database access, but let me do that too. Add IP address. Add current address. Oh, what a nightmare. How do I whitelist everything? You'll only be able to connect to your cluster from the following IP addresses. Yeah, that's what I want. That's good. Okay, database access. Got that. We got network access. I don't know why I'm getting that. Let me just do this again here. I'm troubleshooting real time here. It originally said can't connect to servers. Trying to access a database from an IP address that isn't whitelisted. Make sure your IP address is on your Atlas whitelist, which we did. And then it's saying the same thing over and over again. Okay. Tamoya, did you pull and try it on your end?
No.
Okay. Can you try? I just want to see just my stuff. I really don't understand. I thought I whitelisted everything. Just going to add my IP address too. This is, yeah, that looks all right. Maybe it's because our database is empty, but no, I should, we'll see here. We'll see if this makes a mistake. This will be a nightmare if I have to put in everybody's IP address. I don't want that. It gives us more information here that we can troubleshoot here. So, it wants me to read a bunch of documentation. Everyone loves to do that, right? Read some technical jargon. Atlas only allows client connections to the cluster from entries to the project's IP access list. Each entry is either a single IP address or a range. And I thought I added that range. I thought I did 0, 0, 0. So then it gives you an example here, which we have. Atlas does not support. Sorry, everybody. Just kind of mumbling to myself.
Duck method.
Security. Let's do this again here. Let me just refresh. So I have my IP address included currently. Sean saying for AWS clusters with one or more VPC to the same, you can specify a group security associated with. Yes. I wonder if I have to set up a group security AWS style. I hope not. See, this I thought would have done the trick. So I'm not understanding why this is giving me grief. If somebody wants to, Tamaya, did you get any luck there? I'm gonna put the so just I'm gonna dump this into the chat here. That's the environmental variable that everyone should have. Super secret. Don't share it with everybody. And Sean's giving me maybe if I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. I should have got a different message other than what I'm getting here. What I should have gotten. I should have got a happy little message saying you're connected to your database, but let's see here. Localhost 8080 able to connect. Yeah. So something not quite right here. Let me use my friend Google. Because what we're supposed to get, I'll just show you a working example. Back to my demo here. If I do run dev, oh, didn't like that. Let me go into the right directory. If I run the server I'm supposed to get, it looks similar, right? We get the yellow, the green, and then bang, that's what it's supposed to look like. That's when it's set up correctly. We're getting not that. So we're good. And then it says Mongo server selection error, cannot connect to your Mongo. So it's saying that it's not whitelisted. I checked, it is whitelisted. What I'm wondering, just wondering if I
Sean threw a link in the chat.
click that one, Paul. So Sean, you want me to read documentation? Documentation. So this is yeah. I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole. So we are using AWS behind the scenes, and that link. Oh no, the last link. It's
your dashboard.
It's your dashboard. You're talking about the AWS? Are you talking about this link? What I'm gonna do here, because when I played around with the other one, I don't remember. Okay, so first of all, I've whitelisted my IP address. I'm gonna restart this. I'm just gonna try restarting it again and see if it can connect. If it can't, if I keep getting the same error, I'm gonna delete both IP addresses because I don't remember setting up that whitelist when I did the anime PM run dev. Maybe I was on the wrong. What was I on here? No, I was. Let's see if it crashes this time. Tomoya, did you poll? Did you try yet? No, I'm still getting the same error.
I'm installing packages.
Sorry?
I'm installing packages.
Installing packages. Okay.
Mm.
I'm gonna try. Let's try that. It sounds counterintuitive, but I don't remember setting up a whitelist last time. So I removed all the IP address access. And see if it makes a difference. What I can do is, since my anime database works, we could steal that one and use it for our nefarious purposes. Yeah, it didn't like that either. Okay, so just to rule out that we have everything, we know that because I just showed you what it's supposed to do is this one works. So this is another database. I'm not fussy, so I'm gonna set. Whoops, how am I gonna do this? I'm just gonna delete that, put that in there. I'm gonna save. I'm gonna try the same thing. And maybe I didn't set up the, yeah. So it's my database. My database is messed up. I don't know what's going on there. So let me back up here. You know what? Just for the sake of keeping things chugging along, I am going to I'm going to try to redeploy this later on. But just so that we can keep going, we're going to use this database now. So that's our new environmental definition that you can use. So that's fine. All right, let's carry on. Let's keep motoring. I have to make some magic happen in 30 minutes-ish. Right, okay, so we've added a bunch of files. We've done all that stuff. Now we're gonna create a schema, a mongoose schema. So this is, I'm actually, let's see if we can, how am I going to do this? Maybe I have to log in as myself here. Let me try that. Just going to take this off my screen share here. The schema is the outline of a, sorry, yes, am I accessing something here? Come on, there you go. A schema, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, is it's the setup for the database. So in the anime example, the setup they want is the name of the anime, the image, and the description. And basically it's making 3 objects and they're all string. So for that little example that they provide, you have to name the anime, you have to point to a URL, or you have to give the image address, and then you have to put a description. For our purposes, we can modify this a little bit. So our Ducky example can be something like, we could say the problem, steps, right? We're going with my little wacky prototype. If we're going with that idea, our setup is going to be, we have to have a string for our problem. Maybe we'll have a string for the user. I don't know what the steps are going to be. Maybe that'll be an array. We'll have to do a little testing for that. But yeah, that'll get us started, I think, if we set that up a little bit. That'll get a good head start there. What I was trying to do here was just see that database that is working. If I could modify this schema that's currently set up. So let me just see where that, I got too many tabs. Does anyone have an issue with too many tabs? Okay, so I am logged in as myself. And this is the working database that works. So this cluster here, it looks very similar to what I had just set up that didn't work. So for the life of me, I don't know why. So what I could do here is just create a new database, and we'll call that, let me see here, because I'm kind of confused here. So what's this say? So this is the database, and then the collection is called series. So if we create a database called, what are we going to call it? Ducks?
Let's go for ducks.
And then we'll do problems. Great. Okay. So that little environmental, we could change that dubber, because that's when I was messing around with RubberDuck. I just called it dubber. I thought it was cute. We can change it to ducks. So we have an empty empty collection here. So if I click that, this is what the schema was set up, right? Remember when I showed you the name, the image, and the description? So that's what it looks like in the database, is this ID. So that's how the database keeps track of what the object is or where it is. And then those are the 3 strings. So we can create something similar just by modifying that tutorial there. So I'm just going to steal, create the anime models folder, and then copy and paste the code below into that file. Okay. So let me do that. So I got to make sure I don't get confused here. So I'm actually gonna, no, it's fine. I'll just keep that on my list here. So models. So we're gonna create a new file, but instead of anime, we're gonna call it duck. Is it JS or is it EJS? Yeah, it's just duck, JS. And so this is the setup that the tutorial gives. So in this case, and again, this is that Mongoose is kind of setting up the glue, how to talk to that MongoDB. So this is the setup here. We're going to call it duck schema. And we're going to say, what are we going to say here? We're going to have a few strings here. So first I want to know the user's name, and that's going to be a string. And then what do I want? Probably
Question? Yeah, problem.
Problem. And then this is where it's going to get tricky here, is steps. Because what we're asking the user is, one of the questions we're asking is how many steps in your problem. So we say, type an overview of your problem. Oh, we forgot expectation too. Okay. So we're going to ask them the problem. We're going to ask them their expectation or goal. So we can just say goal and then the number of steps. So that should actually be a number, right? So I don't know if it's just number or if it's integer. Mongoose schema types. Thank you, Google. Schema types number. I see number. So we can use string, number, Boolean. These are all the different types we can define. So if we click on number, maybe it'll give us a little bit more information. Was it schema number? So you can actually specify the max number, and then they give you some examples here. So we can actually define, okay, we can actually define a max. So what's the maximum steps of a problem do you think is suitable? This is a design decision we can make now as a group. If you have a problem, how many steps do you think is logical or reasonable?
I would say same 3 to 5. Like the first one, get the answer. The second one, go back, and then like revert.
1, call Paul.
True.
I can't foresee, if I got into a problem that I could foresee, oh, there's going to be 25 steps here. So I'm thinking either 5. Yeah, I see 5, 5, 5. We're in consensus. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm speaking my muffle, but I'm hungry. Okay. So we're going to do, yeah, number. Nice. I just want to check that out. Sorry. Max. Just make sure. Sorry, flipping around here too much. Okay, user problem steps. So far, so good, I think. Oh, computer's saying otherwise. Stay with me. Stay with me, computer. Oh. This is why it's good to commit code often and early. I thought I lost you all. Okay. So I'm just changing any anime references to duck. Ducks. So we're going to set up a database here that has the user. It's going to be a string, a problem. Oh, remember I said we forgot about the goal, the expectation. So that's going to be a string as well. That the duck is going to bark back or quack back, I should say. So problem, goal, steps. That looks good. Oh man, we got 15 minutes. A lot of pressure here, Emily. Is duck schema a function in Python? No, it's this here is a JS file, so it's actually a JavaScript file. Mongoose is a package that we had installed. So again, if we go to node modules here and I open up that bin, I don't see if they're listed, but it's in our list here. It should be Mongoose is in this list. So we do have the package available to us. And if you just hover your mouse over it, it's defined somewhere. Anyways, so we're saying we're using this package and we're basically, yeah, just like Emily was saying, we're setting up a table here. So we have a user problem, goal, steps. It's going to be a number. We're going to cap it off at 5. And I think that's it for a little application. That's good enough. Okay, so I've saved that. And then what's the tutorial say after that? So paste that in. Next, we're going to create CRUD requests for interacting with the database. This is also the perfect opportunity to use the Postman app. If you guys do have a chance, download Postman.
Do have it.
You have it already?
Yeah.
Good.
Hopefully I didn't delete it.
Oh, you probably deleted it. Oh, shoot. This is I worked with a group project once, and a guy was saying, "Oh yeah, I made the database and it's working." And I asked him, "How do you know that? Like, I can't what?" And he said, "Oh, I just used Postman." And it was the first time I heard about it and the first time I used it. It's a great tool. I'm going to see if I can fire it up here on this Ubuntu. I know I did set it up the other day, and in the anticipation that we'd be using it. Postman cannot be found. Great. You liar. Oh, it's here somewhere.
Let's see if I still have mine.
Maybe, oh shoot, maybe I haven't installed it. Maybe it was other shiitake. Okay. See if I can do it real quick here. I'm going to open up another terminal here just so. Okay, so actually, let me, before I carry on here, I want all of you to play around here. So branch is ahead of original development. Did I not save this? Save. Save all. Oh, because I'm still an example here. It's your fault, Sean. It's your fault. So that's running in the correct directory. Excuse me, the server I have. And if I go here, it's actually saying server database running. If I go here, it's actually showing our index page, right? So everything's working. We're not seeing anything. So not very exciting yet. We're going to get there soon here. I'm just going to try to install Postman here in the background while we keep working away. So for Ubuntu, it wants me to do this, sorry, convoluted install. You guys can probably just download it from that website and install it a little bit easier.
I don't know what brew is.
Okay, so while that's working away, I just want to be as productive as possible here. Oh, come out. Is it this one? No. That one? Yes. Okay, so we can, once I have Postman installed and working, I can make requests with that app. But for now, we're going to carry on with the tutorial here. So update the admin controller. So again, we're just going to steal code rather than try to reinvent the wheel. And 10 minutes. I got 10 minutes left. Oh my God, I'm sweating. All right. So I said the controller, right? Yep. So we are going to paste in the new code. So there's a lot going on in this file. If I can move my terminal down here, come on. Okay, so let me see here. So again, I'm going to just make all the references to duck instead of anime. So we're going to have to update that model here. Duck, nope, that's good. So get index. If our connection is good, render index, good. If we try to go to edit duck, which we'll be creating shortly. If we try to go to edit duck and we have a connection, I want you to render this web page that we're going to create. And if I try to post, and post means like send data, we have to go back to our schema there to make sure we have all the correct stuff there. So how do I do the cool split screen here? If I do, where is it? Yes. So we need to have, get this out of the way here. We need our user, our problem, our goal, and our steps. And we're going to make a duck. And the new duck is going to have all that stuff. Come on, where are you? So the new duck is going to have a user, and it's going to have, seems redundant. And it is, but it's fine. Just copy and paste. So it looks like we're making a new object. And for that new object, we're declaring keys. So we're making a key says user, and then the value is going to be whatever user is going to be up here. So even though it looks redundant, it's it's setting up all the good stuff for us. So go, come on. Come on. There you go. Jeez. Emily, am I still good? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay, good. Duck save. This is a message to the console, duck added to the database. And then a status is a redirect back to the root. Okay. So we've taken somebody else's code. We've changed it from animate to ducks. We've changed the setup a little bit for our purposes. Looks good. So once we've done that, then we get to update the roots file with all this code. So our roots, if we go into, or do I have that set up yet? Yep, there it is right there. Admin. So we've added a few more things here. And our roots are basically just redirecting information. Okay, get add duck, post duck. All the animes have been changed to ducks. Good. Now, if I go to add duck, I should see some magic. So let's try that. So this is running on my local machine here. If I go add dash duck, aha, that's not what I wanted. So I actually have to change the setup here because I just copy and pasted everything. So if we go into pages, that's what we're seeing here is edit duck, right? So this name, image, and description is exactly what we're seeing here. Name, image, and description. So we actually have to change this to our setup again. So our user, problem, goal, add another div. This is HTML talk. Was it steps? Yep, steps. And that is going to be, do I just plug in a number? Yep, number. And that's going to be number. And that's going to be goal. That's going to be problem. That's going to be user. Okay, so let's refresh this and see if it reflected. Aha. So I'm going to try, I could put anything in here. Problem. Kitchen sink. Goal. Drain water. Steps.
Can you go back to your table just for a second? I was just answering
Yep. Where am I here? Is it my models?
no. When you change it for the image, just the previous one.
Oh, edit duck.
Yeah.
Edit duck.
This one. Oh, okay. I think.
Okay, and let me just
I think the input name should be steps for the step view.
say again. Sorry.
I think the name for the steps should be name steps.
Steps should be. Oh, geez, thank you. Good catch. Thank you. Okay, get status. We have lots of stuff here. Okay, so this is so all of you can have the same stuff here. Get status. All right, good. Commit. Backend and database setup. And I'm gonna push it. Holy jumping. I'm gonna have to close some tabs here. And we are almost we're at 10. That's it. Thanks everybody. No. Let me just have a clean off ramp here before we call it a night. I'm gonna try to come on. Let's go. Oh, there's something called Prettier. It makes your code clean and readable. Yes, that is yes. Thank you. Good question. You can on VS Code, you can add these little extensions. Since this is a first time I've set this up, I haven't added those things yet, but definitely the one that Emily's talking about, if you do this, it can automatically clean up your code as you type. There's whole things called like linters, like this one here, Prettier ESLint. I can't really explain it properly, but basically linting is like it detects syntax errors in code even before you commit, even before you do anything. And I mean, there's a whole bunch of setups you can do. So basically, you'll never, ever make a mistake. There's a new language that's really trending these days made by Microsoft. It's called TypeScript. And it's like, it's a little bit like JavaScript, but on steroids, in that for every variable, you have to declare a type. And I'm not, I haven't played around with it too much, but I know it's very popular. And the reason why it's becoming popular is because it's like you address problems beforehand. If you declare a type for every single variable, you won't have type errors later down the road. And so the idea is the more you can set up these linters and prettier things and type declarations, it's basically, I forget what it's called. It's like static testing. I think that's what it's called. You're taking things, you're setting things up ahead of time. I'm actually doing a course by Kent C. Dobbs, and he actually, I'm not gonna be able to show you the here. I don't know if that's clear, but this is he basically teaches how to do proper testing, and one of the sections is just static testing. Oh gosh, let me see if I can. I don't know if this is visible. I'll have to share this picture here. If you go to javascripttesting.com, I actually paid a bunch of money to take this course, and it's really popular. But this whole section here, static testing, is that whole setting up Prettier and linting and stuff like that. So if you ever get a chance, I mean, if you really want to take this serious, look up Kent C. Dobbs. I'll put his name in the chat here. I think it's Java TypeScript. Yeah, TypeScript. Thank you. Thank you, Brittany. JavaScript. I think it's javascripttesting.com, I think. And the gentleman, he writes a lot of free articles that will make your head spin. That's the gentleman there. And I mean, He's a father of 4 and he's always busy. And I don't understand how he does it. I'm just impressed with that little factoid. I mean, you have time to talk? Anyways. So let us, I'm just going to go back here and just show us where we're at here. So we have add duck. Let's see if our edit duck is working as well. Edit duck. Nope. So we still have to set up our edit duck. We have an add duck. And then we're going to have to probably set up a delete duck feature. It is 10 o'clock. I think I had high hopes and aspirations that we'd have a fully functioning web app tonight, but the reality is we're not going to get that far. So if everyone's okay, I'd like to carry on this project with the next meeting. If you're up for it, another hackathon.
I'm up for it.
If you guys want to, mess around with your forks, if you want to push pull requests, leave me some more hot tips on the README, go for it. Go nuts. I want you guys to mess it up as much as possible. And then we try to fix it. And then we recommit. And then we address those merge conflicts. So that's the whole point, is that I want us all at the very end to collaborate together. So we all make this RubberDuck app. So this is going to be stage 1 of a very long process. So I hope everyone had fun tonight. I hope you learned something. Will you send the link on the Facebook page on Eventbrite? The link for what? Sorry,
Sean is asking to sign him in for the next one. I'll say the link will be on the Facebook page or Eventbrite.
Yes. And it's I think I've set it up so that it's always going to be the same link. I mean, I'd have to verify that on my Zoom account, but yeah, I think it's the same link every single time. I've set it up that, so it'll recur last Friday of every month. So, but if you ever want the link again and again and again, just reach out on the Facebook group or Emily's personal. I'll leave Emily's personal contact information so she can address that.
We've got your credit card in.
Oh God. Yeah. I should watch what I say. So I hope you all had some fun this evening, that you learned something. If my computer ever catches up again, I'm gonna push the last bit of code that we just did. I'll probably hack away a little bit at this. What I'm gonna do after this meeting or this weekend, when I find some spare time, is I'm probably gonna go through the whole tutorial and have us basically adding, editing, reading, and updating ducks. So it'll be like the anime tutorial that he set up, but it'll just be ducks, and it'll have our database set up instead of the one that he suggested. So again, the tutorial is in our README. I don't know if all of you caught that. I don't know why my GitHub is so slow right here. Something's wrong. I'm pushing the limits of this Ubuntu. Anyways, I'm tapped out. So everyone have a good night, good weekend, good month. Please stay safe. Wash your hands, wear your masks until you're all needled up. And we'll see you next month, okay? Sound good, everyone?
Okay.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Emily.
No problem. It was
All
really
right.
fun.
Don't work too hard tomorrow.
I'll try.
All right. Good evening, everybody.